Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I hope you are having a wonderful day and a productive week so far. So all the requests that I have got from the previous video that I have recorded and all the comments that I've received were majorly revolving around the roadmap, the resources, and how we can become data analysts as uh, and trying to transition into data analytics. So, for all those doubts and the comments that I have received so far, I have tried making a single consolidated PPT for the same and will share all the necessary resources with you so that you can go through those resources and prepare yourself and become a successful data analyst. So, I think without much delay, let's get into the video first and I'll give you a brief on all the topics for each skill set required with the resources that are necessary. So let's get into the video now. Okay, I hope that is visible. So first and foremost, one of the major skill sets that is required is Excel. So for the Excel to be good at, you need not to spend so much time into that particular one skill set because Excel in itself is pretty vast subject in all its own. Because see, Excel, people are giving like years and years to it to be able to good and work on the same, because it's very vast. There can be a lot of things that can be done only via Excel. Like VBA is there, like macros is there. You need not to learn all those advanced concepts. You just need to know the basic formulas and how you can do the filtering, conditional formatting, and those things. So all those things that you have to cover as a data analyst, as you are trying to become a data analyst, those all things I have written into this PPT. So maybe you can go through those topics. I have also tried attaching the videos for your reference, so you can refer to those videos and can take help from them. Of course, you can go ahead and watch many other videos that are available in YouTube to help you in even enhance those skill sets. But at least you should be able to give this much time to each skill set so that you can excel and in those skill sets and can actually work when you are getting exposed, and you can actually clear your interview rounds, which is the major part that we are lagging in. So for the Excel, the major skill sets that we have to focus on, the major topics that we have to cover while preparing for the transition towards data analysis is the core data manipulation, like how to do sorting, how to do filtration in the data that we are having, how to do conditional formatting into that data. Then the formulas, there could be different kinds of formulas. At least you should know the basic mathematical functions that are there: sum, average, concatenate, and then the different advanced concepts. Of course, date time intelligence functions that are there, that also something that you need to know. How to do how to do the pasting in a different formats, how you can paste the things in Excel without actually copying the formula as well within that. So these are like very little tiny concepts that you should be familiar with. And then the VLOOKUP comes into picture, HLOOKUP, XLOOKUP. VLOOKUP is something very very important that you should be must like you should and you must be familiar with. Then similarly, as VLOOKUP is important, index match is also something that is very very important. So these two topics at least you should cover in terms of the advanced concepts. Now there's a one tool also when you are doing any kind of a transformation in those things. Within the Excel also there is Power Query. So that is also something that you can look into when you're preparing the Excel. So that is why I've given like 2 weeks to give and allocate those 2 weeks to at least in Excel only, and prepare these concepts in like a pretty good manner, so that you can actually do have that basic idea, and then that will help you a lot with when you are learning other skill sets that I'll mention in the next slides probably. But yeah, at least these concepts you should be able to prepare and practice a lot, so that you will be able to crack the interviews that are going to come into picture after you are done preparing those concepts. So these are all the topics that you have to cover for the Excel part. And these all concepts, I think you should probably refer to this particular video from WS Cube Tech. So this has explained like all the concepts that we have discussed also in the previous slide, and this is something that I too have referred sometimes. And other than that, I was at my time referring to Chandu's channel, which is one of the major YouTube channels for the Excel. So I think that is something that you can refer to. I have attached both the links for now for the basic concepts to be clarified, and from the perspective of data analytics, I think you should refer in the starting, you should refer to this particular WS Cube Tech video, and later on you can go ahead and learn other concepts from Chandu's channel. That is one of the major channels in like for Excel in YouTube. So I think, yeah, these were the resources. I will be giving the complete PPT to you in the description box. Make sure to check it out or download it as per your convenience. So there will be all the resources and everything as in how I'm showing this to you. That similarly it will be attached in the description with the proper link, so maybe you can download it from there for your future reference. So that is there. And other than Excel, the next major skill set that is there is SQL. So SQL is generally a structured query language. That is something we might all be familiar with very well. But for SQL also, you have to, like, SQL is one of the major things, and you have to give the most of your time when you are preparing for data analytics. You have to give most of your time into the SQL skill set. Either that's practicing of SQL query, or even learning the basic concepts of it. So you can start with the basic concepts like how you will be retrieving the data from a table, what is select clause, from clause, where clause, order by, limit. These are all things that are something you should be well familiar with, because those are the concepts that you will be using on a like a regular basis. So those are the things. Then you can go ahead and learn how to do the filtration, how to do the aggregations like count, sum, min, max, average, etc. So all those things, how you can do the group by joins. Join is one of the major concepts that you must be familiar with very well in SQL. All kinds of join, whether there is left join, right join, full outer join, cross join, self joins. At least inner join and left joins are one of the important ones. That is something that you should refer to at max. And then you can go ahead for other joins also. So join is something that you have to give full attention to and try learning the concepts very clearly. And then comes the advanced concepts, which is subqueries, then CTs, like the common table expressions that are there, then the Windows function, all kinds of Windows functions, whether that is ranking functions, analytical functions like lead, lag, min, max, sum, those kind of functions. And then there are rank x, those are one of the important and major ones. So row number. So these are the important Windows functions that you should be familiar with when you are preparing for SQL, and make sure to prepare and practice it well. You can also refer to SQL Ju, which is one of the websites that is there out like that is there in you can like go ahead and try searching for SQL Ju in your web browser, and that will be good for your practice and learning purpose. So that is there. And other than those resources, I have also attached few of the resources that you can refer to. So this is Code with Harry's channel, and then this is Rishabh Mishra's channel. I think these channels are one of the major ones that you can refer to for quick learning kind of a thing. So at least you can go through one of these three videos. I'm not saying you to go ahead and learn from all three videos. Maybe you can refer any of these three videos, and then you can go ahead and prepare accordingly. You can practice the same in SQL Zoo or Hacker Earth or any of such platforms for the SQL specifically. And then for the practicing of interview questions, for the daily practicing of SQL queries, you can also visit Ankit Bansal's channel, which is there in YouTube, and he makes quite a lot of good content regarding that SQL practice questions and SQL interview questions. I think you should definitely visit his channel. for the same to practice those things. And then you should practice everything into on your own in SQL or in Hacker Earth. So a Hacker Rank or Hacker Earth, whatever platform you want to choose. So that is something that you can choose. Now, once you are done with the Excel and SQL concepts, you are good with the basic concepts and the basic data analytical skills that are there. Afterwards, you have to only focus on two major skill sets, that is data visualization tools and the Python. And before that, you should also be going ahead with the statistics. So basic statistics concepts, I know I have heard a lot from multiple YouTube channels also that statistics is something that is not very much important as in terms of data analyst. But that is I'm assuring you that data when you will become data analyst, you will thank me for the same knowledge that I'm sharing you. Statistics is something that is very very important when you become a data analyst and you do those analysis. And you, if you don't know the basic math, basic statistics concepts, you will not be able to do that, and you will not be able to understand what is going on in the business. So that's why statistics is something that is very very important. Now for this statistics, you have to learn two concepts, which is descriptive statistics and the core concepts that comes into the understanding the, like, you have to understand inferential statistics also. But for now, I think you should give major attention to descriptive statistics at least, like what is mean, how to calculate median, mode, and what are standard deviations, how to do variations calculations. So those all basic concepts at least you should be well familiar with. And then you can also go ahead for the correlation versus causation, then inferential in introduction. For that, you can go ahead for hypothesis testing and A/B testing. Those are something that are very very important concepts, but at least you should be well familiar with the descriptive statistics, mean, median, mode, and the standard deviation and all those concepts. And then comes into the inferential statistics. So that is something you can go ahead, and I'll refer Khan Academy's channel, which is there in the YouTube. You should probably go ahead with that one and try learning those concepts. There is also a blog for the same Khan Academy's channel that you can refer to. I've attached both the links for your reference, whatever thing you may prefer, because some people might like reading more than watching the video. So maybe you can go ahead and try using that blog. Other than that, you can also refer to the YouTube channel that is there from Khan Academy for the statistics and probability. So that is something that you can refer to. Now coming to one of the major thing that you must be familiar with, which is the data visualization tool. You, of course, as I mentioned earlier, you can of course go ahead with Power BI, Tableau, SSRS, and there are lots of other visualization tool that you can go ahead with. But as I've discussed, as I've suggested earlier, Power BI is will be one of the major tools that you should be uh, well familiar with, I'll say, because that as if you are a beginner and you haven't worked on any such tool, then you should probably go ahead with Power BI itself, because it becomes very handy when you are dealing with the Microsoft ecosystem, because there are lots of tools that are already coming from Microsoft, and Power BI is also one of the Microsoft product. So it becomes very easily and can be integrated very easily with other Microsoft products that are there. So that's why I'm suggesting you to go ahead with the Power BI. And also Power BI is like very beginner friendly. You'll be able to learn Power BI much easier, in a much easier format than when you try to learn Tableau. So those will be my suggestions. Of course, you can go ahead and learn Tableau, SSRS, and Looker, and any other tool that you want to. But Power BI will be my suggestions, and as per that only, I have tried creating the PPT for those Power BI concepts, considering that only. So for Power BI, you can try learning the basic concepts again. And now is the time that Excel will help you a lot, because Excel is also a Microsoft product and you have already learned about Power Query, how to do conditional formattings, how to do formatting, and how to do the filtration, sorting, and all those things. So those things now will help you a lot when you're trying to learn Power BI. So there is also Power Query, and when you learned already the concepts of Power Query in the Excel part earlier, you it will be lot more easier for you to understand the whole Power BI model. So now into the Power BI, you have to focus on how you'll be connecting those different data sources into the Power BI, like Excel, like CSV, like SQL. At least these three you should be well familiar with. Then, of course, there can be a lot of data sources that you can connect with Power BI. That can be API, that can be SharePoint, that can be folders, that can be anything and everything that you can connect with Power BI. But you can focus on how we can connect to different data sources into the Power BI. Now comes to Power Query Editor, wherein we will be doing the kind of data transformations and the cleanup of all the data, because many a times, or like majority of the times, I'll say that we receive complete messy data. There will be lots of duplicates, there will be lots of blanks, there will be that we have to clean up. So before we go ahead for the visualization, so when Power Query comes into picture, like Power Query Editor comes into picture, and we have to know how to use it, what are the concepts that we should be familiar with, what is how to do merges, how to do appends, and how to do the joins in that, how to create a calculated column, how to create majors, what are the differences in those things, and those things like reshaping of the data that we do in Power Editor is something that we must be familiar with to go ahead and get that confident within that. Okay, now I probably am ready to be interviewed within an organization and probably get shortlisted. So Power BI, these are, or at least the minimum things that you should be familiar with. Then again, of course, different kinds of functions that you have learned in Excel will also help you in Power BI, because formula things and everything that you have already learned into Excel, that is something that you can leverage when you are learning when you are learning Power BI. So all the time intelligence functions, mathematical functions, and the concepts of Power Query Editor, the transformations that you did, all those concepts will now become much easier for you to understand when you are trying to get into the Power BI, which is one of the major data visualization tool, I would say. So for Power BI, I would suggest this particular channel and this particular video. I too have gone through the same video when I was trying and preparing for the same. So probably this is one of the, now there are lots of videos available in YouTube. Probably you should go ahead with those as well. But for me it has worked, and there are lots of concepts that have been cleared in this particular video, so I'll suggest the same to you all also. Maybe you can go through that particular video. It is an 8-hour complete video where you learn everything that I have discussed, and you should give that a watch and able to learn all the concepts that he has explained into this particular video. Of course, I have attached the link and everything for your reference so that you can easily access the same when you are targeting for the same. So once you're done now with the Excel, SQL, Python, sorry, not Python, Python is still left. Once you're done with Excel, SQL, and Power BI and statistics, you have got the major idea of how you will be working into the data side. Okay, so now only thing that is pending is Python. Again, as I have explained for Excel, um, Python 2 is very large. You need not to go into each library and learn the machine learning models and deep learning models. Not like that. You have to learn the basic concepts of Python. Not you have not you need not to go into the advanced concepts of it. So go ahead and try learning only the basics of it, and then we'll focus on the advanced concepts later on probably. But for now, I think as a data analyst you need to focus only on the basic concepts, which will include like what are variables, what are constants, how to do the basic syntaxing that is there. We have to follow the basic syntax that are there for each particular data structures, like list, tuples, and everything. So those basic syntaxes you should be familiar with. And then what are data types, what are the control flow, what are the data structures, like the different types of data structures, lists, tuples, and the dictionary. So those are like the major data structure that we generally use. And then of course arrays and everything that comes into picture, but at least these are the basic data structures that you should be well familiar with. And now with the once you get these particular concepts clear, you can probably go ahead and learn those two Python libraries at least, which is NumPy and Pandas. NumPy comes in very handy when you are doing for the numerical calculations and everything. And for the Pandas, it becomes very handy when you are doing the data cleanup. So for the how to, when you are learning those Pandas and NumPy libraries, you have to make sure that how in within the data frame, that is a concept in Python, how to do the creation, how to do the inspection of it, how to do indexing into that. And now for the data cleanup, how will we be handling the missing values, how we will be removing duplicates. That is one of the major cases, as we discussed earlier also. That is one of the major issues when we are fetching the data from somewhere, from our data source. That is something that is very very messy. So we need to know that how we will be handling that missing data or the duplicated data that is there, right? So that is something that is very very important, that you must be familiar with in all those terms, whether you are learning SQL, whether you are learning Python, whether you are learning Excel, whether you are learning Power BI. With all those things, you need to know how we will be handling the missing values and the duplicates. So that is something that you have to focus on. And I think from the NumPy calculations, as we discussed in statistics, sorry. So onto that statistics part, we have already learned the concepts of descriptive statistics, which is mean, median, mode, average, sorry, standard deviation, variation, and all those concepts now will become very handy and helpful for you to understand the NumPy libraries and its basic calculations that we can perform much easily just by using the NumPy library that we have learned previously in the statistics concepts. So that will be understandable for you when you're practicing NumPy libraries questions. So I think that is why I have made a series in that particular order, so that you can go and learn Excel first, and then SQL, and then statistics, and then Power BI. Because when you have learned Excel, Power BI will become a lot more easier for you to understand and learn it. Similarly, when you have learned statistics, Python will become now very easier for you to understand. So all those things I've prepared in such a way that it helps you to understand and learn in a similar and easier format, and so that you can become a successful data analyst in the least time possible. I have given a time allocation also, if you have noticed, in each of the slides or each of the skill sets. Like for Excel we have given 2 weeks, like, right? So similarly we have to try allocating that time, of course, depending on your how much time you are giving to each, like from the day out, how much time you are giving to those learning part. It completely depends on you, but at least this much time is something that you should give to a particular skill sets to be good at, and to be well familiar at, and to be feeling that confidence within you that okay, now you are probably ready. Now once you're done with all these skill sets that I have just discussed, so I've tried attaching, of course, we have tried attaching the link for the Python also. Code with Harry is one of the major Python channels that you can refer to. So this is one of the videos that I have attached here. And for NumPy and Pandas and any other libraries, I think I forgot to mention, but Seaborn and Matplotlib is also something that you can refer to later on whenever you get some time, but at least you should be well familiar with NumPy and Pandas. So for those libraries like NumPy and Pandas tutorials, you could probably refer to Code Basics channel, and for the knowledge of the basic Python, you can refer to Code with Harry's channel. So all those links I have already attached into the PPT. So that is already there, so you need not to search and worry about those things. All the consolidated videos and everything, that also I've tried attaching every possible link that can help you into this one particular slide, so that is also there. Now comes the major part. When you have learned these skill sets, the projects becomes very important. See, this Titanic data set, the Iris data sets, now this has become very, like, I too have taken few interviews in my past experiences, and I have seen a lot of people coming with the same projects. So who would want those candidates who are building the projects just from, but just by watching a YouTube video and copy pasting the same uh, code that is being taught into that particular video, right? So try building the projects from your own knowledge that you have got by learning these concepts. Hence I've suggested to give that much time at least to each skill set, so that you can excel in those skill sets, and so that you can feel you feel that confident, like, right? So for the projects, I have made sure to point it at least to like 3 to 4 projects for the domains that you might be familiar with. So also you have to focus on one particular domain. Let's say you are interested into the finance domain, so build a project related to that particular domain. If you are willing to go into a healthcare domain, build a project regarding that. If you are targeting to get into a company which focuses on retail, e-commerce, then go ahead and build a project for that. Do not create any basic projects that is already there and people are already creating those projects from copy pasting from YouTube, right? That can be one of your projects. Okay, you have learned it from there by building that project, but the major project should reflect your own knowledge and the expertise that you are bringing into the table, and the interest that you are having into the domain. So for each possible and the majority of the domains that we are willing to work in, I tried consolidated few examples into this particular slide that you can refer to. So for the finance or the banking or lending kind of a interest, you can go ahead and build one loan default risk prediction which is there, and what will be the future impact analysis for the same. That is something that you can refer to when you are when your core interest is into the finance, right? Similarly, for healthcare or the hospital operations, you can go ahead and um, build a patient readmission rate reduction and the casual factor analysis there. So those kind of analysis, when you will do as per your core interest, as per the domain that you want to get into, that will really hit the recruiter's mind. Okay, that is something that you already have some exposure to, so they too will be willing to take you into the picture into their company, right? So maybe take that also into the consideration. I have given few examples into this particular slide that you can refer to, and you can research even from your end as well, that what is something that makes you feel interested, and accordingly you can target those you can target that particular domain and build a portfolio or the project for those that specific domain. So that will help you a lot to get into the data analytics in much easier way when you are comparing the people who are already there building that same Titanic data set analysis or the Iris data set analysis. So that is something that you should focus on for now, to build a different kind of a project, to be able to get that recruiter's eye on you. Because otherwise the job market is very tricky right now. You won't be able to get into that until there's something that is different in your resume, right? So that is something that you have to focus on. Now the last thing is a resume. So for the resume, I'll say you already have made projects into the domain that you're targeting into, so you have to go into that. Of course, I'm trying to probably create a video where I can show what all things you have to include in your Naukri profile or in a LinkedIn profile. I'll probably share it very soon if I get the like the response that I'm expecting to be into this video, I'll surely be creating a better video where I'll be reviewing probably one of the profiles from one of you, like either of yours candidatures. But otherwise I'll probably share my own profile that I have used earlier to get into data analytics, or the kind of projects that I have utilized, or the how I have built my resume or the LinkedIn profile to get shortlisted into the multiple companies that I have been offered from. So probably all those factors and everything I will try to consolidate together into one single video for the resume part and the LinkedIn portfolio. But for now, to get started with, I think you should focus on the resume optimization and do some ATS analysis onto the same. Like there are lots of recruiters who are now not even watching your resume for even 5 seconds. They are just there are bots already there which are doing their work. So you have to make sure that your resume is ATS friendly. So that is something that you have to majorly focus on after you are well versed in all those technical skill sets, uh, and the major concepts are clear. So and once you have built those projects, you have to now give your major attention to the project, like to the LinkedIn portfolio and the Naukri profile. So that is something maybe I'll probably not probably I'll make it maybe very soon for the optimization of your resume, optimization of your LinkedIn profile. I'll surely be uploading those videos very soon once I get the required like the views into this particular video, of course. So if I'll not get such a response, probably I'll assume that people might not be needing it this much. So maybe if you need it, if you want me to create a video on a resume optimization or LinkedIn portfolio, like a LinkedIn profile optimization, please do let me know in the comments box. That will help me to think, okay, that is something I might be able to help you guys in some possible scenarios. So I'll surely be uploading that video accordingly. So I think, yeah, that's it from my side. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for being here till the very end, and I hope I was able to help you till some extent. And if it was helpful for you, please give it a like, and make sure to subscribe the channel, and share it with your friends, whosoever you think might be needing it. And I think that's it. Thank you so much. Bye bye.